Greetings, everybody, and welcome out to Board Game Breakfast. My name is Chris Yi.
I'm Wendy Yi.
Hi there, I'm Eric Summerer. So we're doing this show a little bit off kilter due to Dice Tower East travel and resetting and everything. And I have a quick story about being one day off of what you expect. My family and I are traveling to Europe later this summer. We're going to be in Amsterdam for a few days. And one of the things we wanted to do was get tickets to the Anne Frank Museum, which requires reserving those tickets in advance because it's a very popular attraction. A lot of people want to see it. And I knew that they open up like 1 week's worth of tickets on a Tuesday at 10 a.m. Netherlands time, which is 6 a.m. Eastern time here in the U.S. So I had set an alarm for today, wake up, buy these tickets, get to the site, and realize I miscalculated and I was off by a week and that they actually were selling the tickets for the days we're going to be there last week. But I saw the first day available. The Sunday was still there. So I quickly went for the Sunday. When do we want to go? What tickets do we want? What tour do we want? What package? All that stuff. And I selected it, and the card was declined. Because a lot of cards, if you start trying to buy things suddenly in Europe, are going to go, no. And so, no. Yes, I did authorize that purchase, but then I had to restart the purchase. Still didn't work. Picked a different card. That card says, no, because of course, it's like you can't just buy stuff in Europe. No, yes, I wanted to buy these tickets in Europe. Thank you. Finally got the tickets. So now that's good. And then we look at the date and realize that in Europe, when they give you a calendar, the dates are arranged starting with Monday. Not Sunday, like here in the U.S. We split up the weekend. Saturday is the end of the calendar. Sunday is the beginning of the calendar. And so in looking for dates, we just went the first one. Yes, Sunday, we're still there. No, we have tickets to the Anne Frank Museum on Monday, the day we leave.
Oh.
We're going to be in the airport when we're supposed to be touring the museum. So we were 1 day off. Actually, 1 day and a week off. But that's my story. How are you two?
Did you get your money back?
I don't think we can. I think we just donated a lot of money to the Anne Frank Museum. That's fine. Everything's fine.
That's fair.
It's not terrible. I mean, well, the good news is that airlines are so accommodating. I'm sure they'll just scoot your flight back a day.
I'm sure. Maybe if we get a delay, we can still use them.
There you go.
Hey.
Right?
You are good at getting delayed with your flights, Eric.
Or I can scalp Anne Frank tickets. Maybe that'll work. Hey, you want to see the museum?
Something feels a little off about that. Just a bit. Folks.
Maybe a little.
We're back from Dice Tower East.
We are.
Drove in yesterday. Some of us flew in. Some of us flew in with delays. So that explains what threw you off, Eric, right?
A little bit. I'm a little off kilter. I think I got home at 2 a.m. on Monday morning yesterday. So yesterday was rough. Today's a little better. We're sort of getting back on track in the daily schedule, yeah.
Okay.
Speaking of getting back on track, we got breakfast today.
We do.
And today will be filled with lots of good stories, unlike Eric's, tale of European travel horror.
Tale of the time zones.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Indeed.
Well, let's ignore exchange rate, and we're going to talk about some of the cool things that happen at Dice Tower East. We're going to talk about some of the things that have caught our eye. And ironic, because of the whole, Anyway, let's jump to our, this episode of Board Game Breakfast is sponsored by GripMat. We're going to cut to a brief message about them, to some contributors, and then we'll be back if I can push the right button. This show is sponsored by GripMat, who makes custom play mats for many of your favorite games. With their custom grip surface, you can keep cards and tiles in place without worrying about messing up the gameplay. Or you can get one without the grip surface if you just want a great-looking mat. Whether sprucing up a hot new title or an old classic, consider picking up a grip mat in the Etsy link below.
Hi, it's Stella.
And Taryn from Maple University.
Today we are talking about a game called Lone Wolves. It's exactly a two-player game, and it is kind of trick-taking with a twist.
Yes, it's a game that, I guess the core mechanism is this is a two-player back and forward type of game where you're fighting over 5 different regions. You see that sort of thing a
Like
lot.
area control.
Capers kind of like that. It's a few games like that. But this one, the card play resolves by a 2-player trick-taking mechanism. Trump suit, you have to follow suit, all of that sort of thing. And it's balanced between whether you want to win the trick, lead next, and keep your high number on the table, or lose the trick, but get to play a scar token, which gives you this sort of flexibility. So this is really interesting duality within the trick-taking.
And the way you score as well, the area control is mainly, well, it is the highest score, highest number, but then you get to flip if you lose the card, so it works 1.
There's all these different ways to play with these tokens that you get when you lose the tricks, and you can use them to make areas more valuable or less valuable than they were going to be. And there's also a capacity issue. You can't just keep building up on the highest scoring thing because there's a limit to how many total cards can be in there. So it's a really sharp game.
It's very fun game. It's really tactical, strategic tactical, and we both really enjoy it. So check it out. I think it was originally released through Gen Con 2024. Hopefully it'll get a wide world release. Thanks for watching. Bye.
It's time now to talk about a few things that have caught our eye either inside or outside the board gaming sphere, and I'm going to kick things off with one that's definitely outside the board gaming sphere. My youngest, as soon as they saw me on Monday, asked to get this game. The game is called Palworld. This is a video game that came out, I think, about a year ago for some other platforms, but it's just recently been released for the PS5, which is where we've been playing it. Palworld is very much like a grown-up Pokemon world. It's not like the RPG style that the classic Pokemon games are, but if you ever watch the Pokemon anime, the characters in that game, especially the adults, have Pokemon that are just friends that live with them and help with household chores. And that is something that happens in this game. So this is not Pokemon related, but you do run around capturing creatures. And it's a survival game. Think Minecraft, or think, there's like a little one, there's one you get shrunk, that I can't remember what it's called now. But you're given, sure. Anyway, you have to build a shelter. You have to collect resources, and you can get these creatures to help you. And as you level up your little house, you can have more and more creatures doing things. And what really surprised me is that you can just the higher your level, the more creatures you can have just living in your domicile. And they don't just follow commands; they just do stuff. So if you bring a sheep out, there's like a sheep creature that really likes crafting. And so if you just leave it alone, it's going to just start making arrows and stuff for you. And then if it sees you building something, it runs over and helps you build that thing. And then there's a deer, this big purple deer, that just keeps headbutting trees if you leave it alone. So there's that. And it's really fun to just see these creatures doing stuff on your little farm. If you work them too much, though, they go insane. And so you have to build a hot tub for them to soak in. You have to make sure they have beds to sleep in. But this is the guy, and he just headbutts trees if you leave him alone. But at one point he gets upset and doesn't want to work anymore, and if you don't have ways for them to relax, you're going to have a problem on your hands. It's only been a day since this has been part of our house, but it seems fascinating, and I just love the way that the creatures interact. That's Palworld.
Does this have a couch co-op option, or is it just single player?
I believe there is a way to play multiplayer. I don't think you can couch co-op it, though. Maybe you can. We haven't really looked at that. I know that you have to pay for PlayStation Plus to get multiplayer, over the net. But it's possible you can do multiplayer on... I'll look at it.
You'll look at it. I just learned that on the PS5 you can do couch co-op with Stardew Valley. That is a somewhat recent update.
Neat.
Yeah.
Well, this sounds nice. I mean, I
would play it.
There's so many things that I would do with Pokemon in the real world. namely, never do dishes again. Just find some water type who just regurgitate water all over my dishes and be like, that's probably clean.
I definitely think of
That's literally one of the characters. It was like watering the plants and just going, some sort of water. It was a duck that was just watering the fields.
It's like the people who let their dogs lick their plates and then just put it right in the counter.
I guess if you put it in the
right in the
dishwasher,
cabinet.
yeah, that's different. That's different.
It's
No,
like those
skip
old
the
episodes
dishwasher.
of the Flintstones. You know, the Flintstones had the dishwasher that was like a bird that just lived under the sink. It's a living, you know that. This is Palworld.
Well, there was the Enchanted movie where they had the rats cleaning
The rats and,
and
the
pigeons
cockroaches.
and the cockroaches, getting the soap scum out of the bathtub.
Yep.
Delicious. I'm all for that. All right, Chris, what's your eye catcher?
Goodness. Okay. Well, my eye catcher is board game related. Probably one of the strangest things that I heard. Not strange, but I guess the biggest surprise is the news that I think literally yesterday it was announced that Gamelin Games is selling off all the rights to Tiny Epic and to the also enormous, gigantic game, Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea, to Tycoon Games, which itself was a recent piece of news that Tabletop Tycoon changed from Tabletop Tycoon to Tycoon Games, which had just acquired previously the Simon Games and Canvas and stuff.
So are they the next Asmodee?
I mean, it looks like they're positioning themselves for
Trying to
that.
be.
But kind of a funny move to be like, to announce first, like, hey, we're buying all these properties. And now we're changing our company name. Like, I hope that stuff was already maybe taken care of behind the scenes, because that would be such legal garbage to jump through.
Oh,
to like
probably.
Do all these huge acquisitions, be like, now we're rebranding. Let's rewrite
To change all the
contracts.
documents. Copy, paste, find and replace.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no joke, though. These are like Asmodee-esque moves. You know,
Yeah,
I mean,
those are some big things.
There's some pretty big acquisitions. Gen Con is in 3 weeks, and Gamelin Games is known for having their cool castle booth every year.
Yeah.
So now...
I'm not sure this doesn't mean they won't have it. Have they said that they're not going to have their booth?
We don't know yet.
Have
We
they
don't know yet.
acquired Gamelin or just the games from Gamelin?
Yes, they've
guess is the
acquired
question.
the brand. They've acquired the Gamelin Games brand, including the Tiny Epic games.
Yeah.
So I think this means they'll probably still have their booth. It's just they're now owned by Tycoon Games.
Yeah, Michael Coe, who is the owner of Gamelin, the one who made the announcement, he said that it sounds like he is not going to be involved. So I don't know if it'll carry on as its own like separate entity. But I mean, why not? It's got good
But
recognition.
also, when does he step down? Does he step down after Gen Con, after the big convention season, after Essen, or is it like, peace out, I'm gone
He's
now?
following through there's a current campaign that they have. He's going to see that to its completion and sort of finish the projects that are in the pipeline before stepping away.
That makes sense.
That makes sense. Yeah. So I mean, I assume that they'll still be there. I assume the booth will still be there. But it's that interesting. Yeah, everyone's like, hey, what are the direct like kind of ripples of this? So it'll be interesting to see what else Tycoon Games has got next. Do you have a game company that's semi-successful? Are you looking to be bought out? Now you have 2 options of who to sell out to.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's nice to have somebody that has deep pockets, right? That you can kind of be supported by.
Yeah, I mean,
But then you have less decision space because you have to make deep pockets happy.
I guess this goes to show that Everdell makes money.
I mean, Tabletop Tycoon and / Tycoon Games has never had a small booth at Gen Con. They've got quite the presence there already. So it's not like they were little.
No, and to be fair, I just recently learned that they own like a pinball exhibit, an arcade or something like that too, and which explains why at Gen Con they have the Everdell pinball machine and claw game stuff.
Yeah, okay.
I was like, that's such a weird sidestep. No, it's kind of already part of the business.
It's their jam.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yep.
All right, well, speaking of Gen Con, my eye catcher is the Gen Con preview list. So this is a list. If you don't know about it, you can go onto Board Game Geek. You can just Google Gen Con preview 2025. And you can actually see all the games that are going to be for sale, that are going to be for demo. You can organize it and sort it in a bajillion different ways. So you can say, hey, I want to see everything by publisher alphabetically. or I want to see games alphabetically, or I just want to only see the demos, or I only want to see expansions. But the really cool thing that you can do is you can look to see what is going to be the hottest game. So everything, it has its own little thumbs up recommendation area where you can say, yes, I'm excited about this one. And if you give it a thumbs up, it will rate it by hotness. And so you can go in and you can see what games other people are very excited about. You can also boost up the ones that you're excited about so they can get higher on the list. I just have found this list to be so useful over the last few years. If you are excited to go to Gen Con and you're not sure, where to start, this is just a really good place to start seeing, like, what am I interested in getting? What am I interested in looking at? What lines do I want to stand in? Because if it's going to be really hot,
Yep.
it very likely will sell out. And so you want to get in those lines early. So, yeah, it's just a super, super useful tool.
Yeah, it is
Indeed.
neat too that you can filter out by different conditions and prices and stuff. Is it for demo? Is it for sale only? Is it both? So yeah, there's some really useful ways to kind of look at it and like, what am I trying to say? Like,
You can tailor it to what you need.
that's the word. Tailor what you need going into Gen Con. You
I
use
like
this,
having a
Eric?
game plan, knowing what, here are the things I really want to see. I want to take a closer look at these. And then you're not just wandering aimlessly through the hall, which is a great way to get lost.
It's a
Yeah.
great way to be just pushed by the crowds.
It's funny. So Eric W. Martin is the one who puts this together, right? Who does Board Game Geek News. And it was funny. I was chatting with him, I think last year at Gen Con, and he talks about how much work he puts into this like amazingly useful tool that people love. And then as soon as Gen Con is done, it's completely discarded.
Yes.
It'll like
It's
never
totally
be
useless.
Yeah. In fact, Gen Con preview 2024.
Does that still exist?
Yeah, they're still up. So I've started actually kind of going back to previous ones if they load on the old net. And it's kind of fun to see, like, in years past, what were those hot, most thumbed up games and everything. And it's funny that sometimes it's not the ones that have carried on to be the strongest sellers or anything like that.
That's fair.
Yeah. So this is
Sheep
not
in
the most thumbed up.
Disguise? Oh, that's just the top, but that's not
Yeah,
the
that's
top.
just-
Yeah, that's just alphabetical.
Rock
Okay,
Hard,
Rock
I would
Hard.
absolutely say that was one of the hits. Arcs,
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can see that.
Galactic Cruise. That's on both lists. That was on this
a
list
demo
and the
only,
next.
right?
Yeah, this was demo
Yeah.
only last year, and this year it'll be for sale. Tir Nog had a lot of thumbs. I still saw people play that even at East just this last week.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not one of the biggest names quite like SETI was, for example.
And Let's Go to Japan. I've seen that played a ton.
Mm-hmm.
Cities. Yeah, these are all pretty darn hot still.
Endeavor
Yeah.
Deep
I mean,
Sea
maybe
is
not
still
like-
being talked about.
Yeah, maybe not like really, really hot still, some of them, but yeah, they're definitely being talked about.
Sure.
Yep.
Still definitely played at Dice Tower East. Most of these
I need to
myself
spend
played.
some time on this list. I have barely looked at it. And what'd we say, 3 weeks away?
3 weeks away.
Yep.
So yeah, so if
Cool.
you want to help W. Eric Martin feel good about his handiwork, go look at some of these previous year ones too and see like,
Just go, huh.
Look at the old ones.
a
Just
little
send him a
snapshot.
thumb.
Thanks, Eric. Not you, Eric, the good one. So anyway,
All right, I think we should get on to some contributors.
This is a segment where we take a look at a board game based on an IP. I tell you if the IP and the mechanisms match. Today we're going to look at Wednesday the card game. That means each player is going to take a card in their hand and they're going to play it face up. And once you have a number of cards face up for all the players, you're also going to have one that's kind of drawn off the top of the deck. Then Wednesday will take all of these cards, take a look at them, and Wednesday will add one card from their hand also. So you have a series of cards here. And then what you're going to do is you're going to lay the cards out. It'll be here on the round thing. It'll tell you. You're going to lay them out in any order, face down, small to high. So the three's going to be in this way. So people kind of know all the cards but one that are out there. They don't know where they're at. So like the ones, these will be face down, will be here, but you don't know in what order, and the higher ones will be down here. So then what each player is going to do based on this, in this round, they'll choose a card for themselves, choose a card for any player. That means you're going to end up with more than one. Choose a card, give it to the player on your left, right. Don't reveal until the end of the game, and choose a card for yourself at the end. So basically what you do is you'll take a card, and this will go into your scoring pile. So this would be a negative point. Somebody else might take this one. Oh, they got a negative point also. And Wednesday will always pick last. So this player got that. And then Wednesday will take the remaining cards, choose one to keep, to go in her scoring pile. and the other one will go on the bottom of the deck. Now you continue to do that until the game is over and you go through a number of rounds. You have a set of Wednesday cards. The card game is a fun little game, but I wouldn't say it takes you through the narrative of Wednesday the show. They try. I kind of feel like it's more centered on Wednesday the character, from the colored cards being negative to the black and white ones being positive, and then kind of intermingled in there for scoring purposes. I feel like I get the essence of what Wednesday is through this card game. If you're looking for something strongly narrative or more narrative, this is not going to be it. But if you're a fan of the series and you're looking for a light card game, I think this would hit the nail on the head. I would say as for the mechanism, the IP matching, you'd be somewhere in the middle. As for a fun card game, I would say this is probably a 7 on the BGG scale. We had a really good time with it, and being a fan of the series, it kind of elevated it a little bit to us. This is one I think you should check out and not overlook, especially at the current price point.
Hey, I'm Jordan. Let's talk about a game. This is Potions of Azerland. And this is a new game. I think it recently delivered on Kickstarter a couple months ago from me reviewing this. And I really love the look of this game. The production is really fantastic. I think I just have the basic edition. It has these really wonderful, like, screen printed wooden bits, and the game trays are really nice, and the Andrew Bosley artwork is wonderful. And I think there's a really solid game here in which you're going to kind of program some actions at the beginning of the round, and then you're going to carry through those actions. Depending on the strength of the actions that you've kind of laid out at the beginning of the round, is going to dictate how strong that action will be in comparison to the other players, or how early you'll be able to take that action in comparison to the other players. And as you're going through these actions, you're going to be collecting ingredients, and then you're going to be brewing potions, and then you're going to be maybe using those potions for yourself, which is super cool, or going to be selling those potions to other these market cards that are going to allow you to score some points. Ultimately, high points wins. And I think there's a really solid game here. It falls short a little bit for me in a couple different ways. At the beginning of the game, the action selection, that programming, if you will, is not always apparent, and it's very based off of how the other players are going in the game, and so that's going to be very difficult. I have found it very difficult to kind of gauge what other people are feeling, and it feels more random than actually strategic for a bit. I think it almost feels like there's like maybe 1 or 2 steps too much in this game. It could have been streamlined just a little bit to just kind of tighten up some of the edges a little bit. I do think it's a solid game, and I think a lot of people are going to like it, but it's a game that just was a little short for me. So, Potions of Azerland, there you go. Thanks.
Hello, welcome back. It is time for our top 10 of the day. And this is inspired by Dice Tower East that we just finished. And this is our top 10 cool things from Dice Tower East. So I'm going to start off with my number 10. I guess our number 10, my number 3. How do we say that? Just my number 10?
Sure.
Just 10, yeah.
Just 10. The number 10. And that is the volunteers. So I often run the library, right? That's my jam. And that's my main job. And this year I just feel like the volunteers stepped up even more. Like there was just so much that I didn't have to do. I didn't have to spend all my days and all my time in the library. I actually got to go play games because the volunteers were amazing with cleanup, setup, running, everything. And so for me, just that has made my East so good because I know that I can just trust the lieutenants to take care of things and the volunteers to take care of things. And it's so nice. So freeing.
It was a very smooth year, I think, this time around.
Yeah, I had a lot of people ask me, they're like, do you get to play any games or are you just always working? And I'm like, no, I get to play games because we have so many volunteers.
Nice. Everyone knows their job and does it well. And I think training and knowledge and just division of labor was really, really good this year. And fantastic work from everybody.
Yep.
Yay.
Everyone's who's like, how is Dice Tower East? We're like, division of labor. Good.
Speaking of the question, how was Dice Tower East? We do need a number 1 for this list. And so those of you in the chat, if you were at Dice Tower East, please let us know what your favorite part of the show was. What was the coolest thing you saw or did? We'd love to know. Chris, am I next or am you next? Am you next? Am you next or am me next?
Me think you next. Let me see.
Me is next? Okay.
Yes. It's you.
So this is the only actual game I'm going to put on my list because I think the emphasis is not necessarily on the individual games, at least not for me, but I will highlight one. I had the intention to go to the Hot Games room Saturday morning and just pick something that I hadn't played yet. I had a big chunk of time. I was going to play something, and Mike DeLisio set up this game and just sucked me in like a tractor beam. This game is called Jisogi Anime Studio Tycoon. This is a, worker placement, resource management, simulation, economic game where you are the head of an anime studio. You start out with a director, a producer, an animator, and a writer who are dead inside, like they've just been beaten down by the system. And they look terrible. They have these character cards. They look terrible. Like they were handed to me, and you have to work with these people at first, and then you gradually train them or hire more people, and just have a much more happy workplace. But at first, you've got these people who are just like, division of labor. And you are also collecting money, and you have to write the anime that you're going to do to try and capitalize on trends in the industry, like maybe giant robots are really big right now, but cosmic horror is on its way out. And so maybe you can get some points from cosmic horror, but really the robots are the way to go. You have to draft elements of your script and then put it into production and then animate it. And each of those people have certain things they can do and things they can't do. And then once you hire more people, they have special powers and scoring abilities. And you're trying to release anime as many as you can in the 4 turns of the game to work your way through this game. It's a really tight economic game. It's tight in the actions that people are taking, what other people are grabbing on the board. Every time you hire somebody from a row, it wipes the row, so you can't get too attached to any one card, any one producer or director. But the art is fantastic. There's little Easter eggs on the board that you can look at. It's just gorgeously produced, and now I have to go find it. Jisogi Anime Studio Tycoon.
That sounds amazing. I actually think I would really enjoy that game.
Oh, yeah. That's the curse of playing a game with one Mike DeLisio, is that he will likely have something you've never heard of, you'll never see again, and yes. You will just, it'll haunt you for the rest of your life. Mike taught me, I saw that Mike is in the chat, actually. I forget if it was last East or if it was at West or at a recent convention. He taught, and it was hilarious, this game where you put together different elements of movie posters, and you just kind of make up these like goofy, like loose cannon pianist, and so yeah,
it sounds like Canvas.
It's like Canvas party game with funny movie posters. It's like where the art actually matters more than like set collection in Canvas. Yeah. So anyway, this sounds exactly like something Mike brings to these cons. All right. Well, I think I'm up next. So number 8 here is that we had a special guest. We had a special guest all the way from California, a known professional voice person. So it was about time that we had some real voice talent in a Dice Tower event.
Really.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's where we're lacking.
So Sungwon Cho, or known as Pro ZD, was there. He did a couple of signings. He did some events there. He did the top 10 with Tom and Z. And he also was just kind of around roaming the halls, playing games and stuff. So it was fun. Got a chance to meet him. He signed a bread poster from, if you've ever watched the anime, that kills the creator, it makes him dead inside. There's a show called Delicious in Dungeon that he voices this excellent character on. So, yeah, Sungwon.
How did you duplicate him in real life like that?
How did I duplicate him?
Yeah. How are there two of him in your picture?
No, that's a different guy there with the ponytail.
Oh.
Yeah. That's Brad. All right, Mike, by the way, says the party game I was talking about was called Godspeed Cinema. So anyway, yes, silly, fun game, that one.
All right, number 7 for me is a 5-hour game of Obsession that I got to play.
This is a list of good things.
So I had some people that I knew, and Obsession had literally like been checked back in, and they're like, oh, that's on my bucket list. And I was like, get it now. It's never going to be in existence again because it's always checked out at the conventions. It's really hard to get. And so they're like, okay, we've never read the rules or know anything about it. So they grabbed it. And they were reading the rules for about an hour. And then I was like, oh, I'll hop in. I've always wanted to play this. It's also on my game bucket list. And so they had just started being taught by someone who walked up and saved the day to teach. And then I sat down, and so then she had to reteach. So anyways, it took like 2 hours to learn the game and 3 hours to play. But it was a lot of fun, and I'm really glad I finally got to it. And honestly, once we started playing, I was like, oh, this is way easier than it seemed from the rulebook and from everything everyone said. So
Yeah.
The rule book is
happy.
tricky with this one. You can get really stuck somewhere. And I had a weird teach on the cruise trying to play this for the first time, and people kept trying. It was people that sort of knew it and were trying to teach, and like, what am I forgetting? And looking at the rule book, so we ended up with like 2 or 3 versions of the teach, and so it was a bit of an interesting experience. I feel like I know it better a lot better now, but the teach was odd.
I was like, the actual turn structure of, stick one of your little room tiles up in the corner, pay all of its costs in people and cards, get the rewards on the cards. Like, the actual turn is not that complicated, but yeah, there was a lot of looking up rules too, because we had accidentally mixed, or not accidentally, but we played 5 players, so we like had half of the expansion mixed in just so we could have 5 players, and it was fun chaos, but I had a really good time.
My experience was seeing that and going, that's probably a mistake. And someone else a few tables over looked at me and go, are they playing 5-player Obsession now, like this late at night? And I was like, yeah. Also, none of them have played before. And the guy just, his way out of the room.
But you know what? We had so much fun. Like, half the time we were just talking about random stuff. We were having a blast.
Sure. It is tricky when you take something out of the library like that has expansions in it as well, and trying to sort, and that was the case with our play as well, is trying to sort those expansion tiles out so that we were playing the most basic version, and sometimes that's easier than other times.
We often take out expansions, but that happens to be one of the expansions that people say is pretty necessary for balance issues. So like if you really want to play it and you're someone who's played it before, upstairs, downstairs is important to add in.
Yeah.
So that's why it's in the box.
All right, moving on to one of my events for the weekend was a game of Parsley. We sort of talked about this, I think, last week, something like that. Parsley is I guess officially a role-playing adventure where the person leading it is a computer, and they are taking commands from the players one by one. And so we had about, I want to say 30 to 40 people playing this, and we had the wireless microphone in the audience, and we'd snake it along through the audience, and each person gave me a command as if I was a mid-1980s parser text adventure game. And so we're trapped on a space station. We wake up. There's some sort of alien ship bombarding us with torpedoes, and you have to figure out how to get off the space station safely without dying miserably. And everybody's giving me commands: go north, go up, level 2, command robot to fix reactor, stuff like that. And we made it out. The team did it. I've really enjoyed running Parsley events when I'm able to do so, and so this was the largest group I've ever done it for, and I think people enjoyed what they were doing. So it was a blast. Parsley in Space, the space station adventure, was my number 6.
This makes the name Parsley make so much more sense to me now.
Yes. In fact, it actually, you misspelled it because it's P-A-R-S-E, like parser. Parse-E-L-Y, Parsley.
I just assumed that Camilla had no idea what she was doing when she put together that sign.
She misspelled it. No, that was
I actually
me.
didn't even look at it. I just threw the picture in there, and I was like, good enough. So,
Well, no one knows how to spell it.
fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice.
Still shame on you.
I won't get fooled again. Okay, very good. Number 5 coming along here. I'm trying to remember. I switched one of these out.
Oh, so it's a surprise to you what your number 5 is?
Yeah.
Close
I
your
don't
eyes.
remember.
Take off your glasses and see what it is.
Okay. Number 5. Oh, I can tell from the picture. Whoo! Because I cannot read those words from here, as big as they are. I struggle without my glasses. No, this one is not just a game. It's an experience. Sorry to invoke the early 2000s extreme commercials there. No, this was the game that I saw played the most, Hot Streak, there at the convention. I taught it and ran it several times. I know several other members of the Dice Tower taught it and or ran it several times who wear fedoras. And if I had to pick like the best gaming experience I had, it was probably these games. Like, just seeing people kind of betting and like not really sure what they're kind of getting into. And then once you shuffle up that card and you start running these racers, everyone starts losing it. We had one of the best races where movement card, like there's certain movement cards in this game that won't let someone cross the finish line. So we had people racing across in these big old goofy costumes, run all the way up to the finish line, and then we'd reveal another card that says everybody moves 3, and the guys at the front were like, you can't move it. And then they would move backwards, and then they move forwards, and then one of them would turn around. And so just everyone is sitting there screaming like, go fish, go fish. And the fish is at the finish line. We flip over a card that says fish turns around. Everyone goes, no! And then we flip over a -2, like a backwards 2 movement, and the fish moonwalks across the finish line. Whoop, 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 whoop.
That's amazing.
It was so great. Yeah, if you haven't played Hot Streak, find someone who has it. Go get a copy. If you like dumb and great games, this was the one that was popped up everywhere, and you could hear what game they were playing if they were playing it. You could tell.
Because you would hear, go fish, go hot dog.
To be fair, they might have been playing Go Fish.
I loved this game as well. It was the craziest thing I had also involved the fish. I had heavily invested in the bear. Like, I knew I had a good bear card to throw in the deck. The bear had some pretty good movement, and so I bet heavily on the bear. And the bear, like the fish, moved and ran over the bear, and then turned around and ran over the bear again, eliminating the bear. Like, just the next 3 cards were crush the bear, turn around, run over the bear. Like, what? But I finished the game with like $14. You start with 10. But what I love about this is that at the end, you say what the number of dollars you have, and you look that up in a chart, and you get an ending. No matter how much money you have at the end of the game, you get some sort of ending, so it feels like I still won.
I forgot to do the ending. So I played
We'll never know.
I played this 20 minutes before the library closed on one of the evenings. So at like 12:40, I started this game. I taught it because the people that wanted to play it, it was always checked out. And so it happened to be available, and I was like, we can do it. We can do it in 20 minutes. And I forgot to give them their ending. That's so sad.
They'll never know.
I was literally like 5 minutes over, and I was like, we got to get this put away.
You just return them to the table when the library's closed.
No, we were in the library.
Oh, that's different.
Yeah, we were being kicked out. I was breaking my own rules.
Wow.
Almost.
Wow.
I know, I'm a bad example.
My favorite thing was at the end of that fish gamut that we were talking about. One of the guys was like, "Well, I broke even at the end of the game, $0." I was like, "You started with 10. You know that, right?"
You started with 10.
Did he just always do the yes nos wrong?
He got like nothing, and then did multiple. It's hard to lose that much money in this game, and he did it.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's really hard to lose money in that game. All right, number 4. This one is for me, just coming back to Dice Tower East year after year now. I feel like I come back and I just come to family. Like seeing all my friends that I don't see anywhere else except conventions. It's just so nice to come back. Also, Chris picked this picture. Poor Barry. She was so cold because for some reason it was like 60 degrees in there every single day. So she decided to wear her robe that was in her room over the top of her sweater, over the top of her 7 layers of clothes. I wish I had done it myself. I was freezing.
California people, am I right?
Yeah, no.
I say from Florida.
But it's just so nice to come back to these people and be like, oh, I see you on the cruise. Oh, I see you at East. Oh, I see you at these fun conventions. And we just get to hang out and catch up and play lots of games together. And it's just like good, deeper friendships are being made year after year.
Adult summer camp, everyone always calls it, right? Like,
yeah.
It's definitely summer camp, yeah.
Yeah. The number 5 that I switched away was how cold it was. So this picture worked for either. No, I mean...
You just wanted this picture in there?
Maybe. At one point, someone told me that it was cold enough at the convention hall that they saw... Like, multiple people brought, like, throw blankets and stuff. Someone brought down the hotel room comforter and was just walking
It was
around.
a giant puffy marshmallow. Yeah.
Okay.
Incidentally, sweaters sold very well at the Dice Tower booth.
I don't think we had any left
Yep.
over. I think we were
Yeah,
sold out on
hoodies were
sweaters
sold out.
pretty
They were
early.
actually making more hoodies overnight.
It's a racket.
It is a racket. I think we lost Eric.
Oh, no.
Did we lose the whole stream, or did we just lose Eric is really the question.
I think we lost Eric.
I think we lost Eric.
Huh.
Yeah, I'm moving still, so I think we're still on.
Sell the
Yeah.
next day in the booth.
Oh, Eric's back.
Well,
Hey, number 3
yeah,
is...
let's do that. Sorry,
do.
we missed
Yeah,
the entire
let's do
story.
that.
You were frozen.
Indeed. Number 3 was an event that was basically handed to me. Some folks in the office, I don't know who was responsible for this, but they decided, what are we going to do with visiting artist Andrew Bosley? He said he was up for an event. What are we going to do with him? And someone in the office was like, well, what if we played Pictionary and then made it really hard for Andrew to do that? Except we're really busy and we don't have time to make this happen. So let's make Eric figure it out. So I was handed this concept, and we called it Andrew Bosley Can't Draw. We had a panel of 3 Dice Tower personalities. We had Julie, we had Z, and we had Mike. On the mics, and they were playing, they were the guessers, and noted board game artist Andrew Bosley was a wonderful sport. We set up an easel, one of those paper flip mats, and basically played Pictionary. However, every round we would pull a new envelope and let them choose what restriction Andrew would have for the next round. So we had Andrew holding the pen from the tip. We had him blindfolded. At one point we said, you can't use the pen. You have to use these Post-it notes. The best round was when we gave him like a stamper. It was like an auto stamper that you just hit the paper and it would stamp. I had to brace the easel so that Andrew could go stamp, 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 making mountains and lakes and rivers and bridges. And the team would try and guess if they got it right. And this could have gone so horribly wrong, but it didn't. I think all the rounds worked and the audience liked it. And Andrew was not mad at me at the end of it. So I'm going to call it a success. Andrew Bosley can't draw.
Well, I mean, he wasn't mad at you to your face.
Very true. Maybe he's just really good at hiding it.
No, Andrew is one of the nicest people in the board game industry. And so, yeah, he comes out a lot, actually, because Matt Mundy from Sea Cow Games uses, he's the artist for
Flock Together.
Flock Together. I almost called it Chicken Fever. And I was like, that's probably wrong. For
Chicken
Flock
Fever.
Together. And so he's brought him out to Dice Our East. He's brought him out to West. And he's a good draw. All right, number 2, coming from me here. One of my favorite parts about the convention was just every year our daughter sends us with like a stuffed animal or something of hers, and we go around and we get pictures of it around the hall, around the event, with different with different people, with different guests who bring in some of their own little stuffed animals for different pictures and whatnot. So people were very gracious. And people were very happy. And then also Wendy stuck it in the refrigerator at one point, and it was great.
Mm-hmm. It was melting. Poor penguin ice cream sandwich. Also,
I never saw this stuffed creature.
You didn't add any of my Pikachu pictures.
I didn't. I'm in charge of this.
That's so sad. I had Pikachu taking really fancy pictures with a fancy camera. I was very proud.
Yeah. So, yes, Eric, if you were wondering, this is a penguin / ice cream sandwich hybrid. What evil geneticist invented this, I know not, but it belongs in Palworld.
It probably does.
Full
It would be
circle.
farming. It would be like refrigerating your food.
And it has chocolate chips.
That's true.
Makes it even better. All right, on to the number 1 answer. Well, I have to say, chat, you did not bring it home today. There's not very many experiences on here.
Yeah.
But I almost...
Oh, no, don't ban.
I almost banned it, but
Yeah.
I won't ban you, Mike Heller. He got to play something with Eric.
Aw, how nice.
That's his favorite. Oh, that's so sweet.
It was great to get to play games with as many people as possible. You know, sometimes it's fun to you sit at one table and you want to play with more people, with the same people, because you had such a good time. You almost have to force yourself to be like, I gotta go and move to a different area of the hall so I interact with more people.
Yes.
But that's great because you end up with a lot of new friends when it's all over.
Yeah, absolutely. Dice Tower
Do you
East
remember
was-
what you played with Mike Heller?
He's not memorable.
What was it? It was. I feel like it was more than one thing. But oh, Mike, what was it? What did we play? It was. He walked out of Jisogi. I think he was going to sit down and play it, and then left. He's like, "No, this looks too complicated for me," and then kept checking in with us to see how it was going. It wasn't Merchant of Venus. I did play Merchant of Venus. I played my 97th play of Merchant of Venus at Dice Tower East, which makes me think I need to do something big for number 100, whenever that's going to be, but like at least a cake.
Oh, look at this one right here. I changed it. I take it back. The chat's amazing.
Wendy, smile.
Oh, everybody
that's
smile.
sweet, Liv.
All right.
work?
There you go. That was it. You saw the best part about Dice Tower East right then and there. Mm-hmm. No, Dice Tower East was great. It was a super fun convention to go to, and like Wendy said, it ran very well this year, and even better than before. And so, make sure that when registration and stuff opens up for these events, if you want to come play games with Eric, if you want to command him like a computer module, if you want to meet fun and cool people like Andrew Bosley and it'd be great if we could get Song One Cho to come back out again, but he's a busy guy. But who knows what the future holds? But I'm very happy with how Dice Tower East went this year. Had a lot of fun.
The future's open wide. Right?
What is that?
I've never heard that song before.
What is that song? Why is that in my head? Does anybody know what that is? 'Cause
It's from the 1980s. It's Boy.
Yeah, what is that from? I assumed it was like Styx or something.
I don't know.
It's not, is it?
Eric is from the Transformers, the movie, the soundtrack.
It's not from the Transformers the movie. No, that would be Dare to Be Stupid.
Oh, I do love 80s Weird Al. Oh,
I see Weird Al in like 2 weeks. I'm so excited.
You get to go
Really?
see Weird Al?
Yeah,
I'm
I think
jealous.
a week.
oh my
week
gosh!
from
Tell him I say
Friday.
hi.
I will.
All
right.
That's all my bucket list.
Chris says hi. From row HH. Chris Yi says hi.
All right, that's awesome. Folks, we're going to call breakfast here because we have, in 12 minutes, a live play. All Play is launching their new trio of trick-taking games featuring Sail Legacy, which we're not playing live because of legacy reasons. But Mike and I did actually film a little preview video, a non-spoiler discussion of it. And then we're going to hop over about 20 feet that direction, but we're going to play the other two games, Savage Bowl and Sick Tricks, which are both hard-to-find Japanese trick takers. You know, the kind of thing that Mike DeLisio brings to conventions, for example. But now they'll be more widely available. So if you want to check those out, come join the next stream over there. We'll be playing them. Eric, any podcast news? Is that dropped for the week? Or
Actually going to have an episode next week where we'll be talking about East. And if you can still hear me, I seem to have frozen again, which is awesome. Next week, talk East. It'll be fun. And also Melt You is the song that Wendy was talking about.
oh, okay,
Melt you? Huh.
all right. I melt with you.
Oh.
I'll stop the world.
Stop the world
I'll
and melt with you. There you go. That's why.
Got it. All right.
Yay.
Till next time. I'm Chris Yi.
I'm Wendy Yi. And Eric's partially frozen.
All right. Peace out, everybody.
And I'm Eric.
Hey folks, thanks for joining us for that video. If you haven't yet, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hey, make sure you check out what's happening, where I'll cover an app on an iOS or a Switch device, and you can check it out along with me. Thanks very much. You've been watching The Dice Tower.